Are you in the market for a folding power chair with a 395-pound weight capacity? Well, stay tuned to this video to see one of the best on the market today. Hey, I'm Alex with Marc's Mobility, and in this video we're going to show you the latest updated version of the Travel Buggy City 2 Plus. Now, this Travel Buggy has been out for a good amount of time, and so has the City 2 Plus. But just since we've been partners with them over the last 3 or 4 years, they've made a few different upgrades to some of their products, just like the City 2. So if you're watching this video, this is how they are going to now be shipping out. They did do some upgrades. I'll go over the whole thing with you, but I will mention some of the upgrades throughout the video as well of what is different and what is the same as previous versions as compared to this one. So now this unit is going to have a 395-pound weight capacity. It is going to have up to about a 15-mile drive range. If you've watched any of my videos before, you understand why I'm pretty specific. And when I say up to, because it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get 15-mile range. That is based on the user's weight, the terrain, the incline, multiple factors, and also how much you stop and go. So you imagine driving on the highway in your vehicle or driving in the city, the more you stop, the more battery drain it's going to take to actually get the unit moving again. So up to 15-mile drive range. Now, a couple things I do want to mention about the weight of the unit. So the City 2 Plus, you will see on their specifications says 65 pounds or 40 pounds when you remove the rear wheels. We'll show you that here later on in the video. But I do want to mention that that 65 pounds is not a realistic number because that's probably with the batteries out, your joystick off. You got to take a lot of parts off of the unit. So it's not like it's hard to do, but it's not a, hey, just take this like you see it and fold it up. We actually weighed the unit with the batteries, joystick, and the little toolkit on here, and it was more about 74 pounds. So if you don't want to take anything off the unit, 74 pounds. If you do want to remove the battery, the joystick, and any of your other tools, okay, yes, you might be at that 65-pound range, but just want to give you that so that you are aware and you don't call back and say, well, it says 65, and I'm saying it's more over about 74 pounds overall weight. Now, the unit does fold up. Like I said, the rear wheels come off, and I'll show you that here in a minute, which is a great feature. But what also makes the City 2 really nice is, outside of having that higher weight capacity, is you do get, with all the shipments of these units, in the front pouch here underneath, you are going to get a small toolkit, and you're also going to get some spacers. So it comes with everything that you need to make this wider in between the armrests. So how they ship them out, due to shipping purposes, to want to be able to fit them inside the box more economically, you're going to be at about 18 inches in between the armrests. But you are able to take these spacers like I have here, and they are going to go on the two different points of contact on both of the arms. And when you add those spacers, you're going to get 21.5 inches in between the armrests. So obviously, if somebody is up in that upper 300-pound weight capacity, they are going to probably want more distance in between the armrests. Do know it's very easy to do. We have a video of how to put these spacers on as well that we'll probably drop as a link below in the description. But that is what is going to be included with the unit. And down in here also, you're going to get a seat belt, your owner's manual, and a charger. Now, I do want to mention as well, with charging this unit, you do have 2 individual batteries on here. You can charge either one individually, or if you plug your charger in right here into the joystick, it will charge both simultaneously. Now, I have done this before in the past. I wanted to see if I was to take a battery out, the unit will still drive with just one battery in the unit. So you don't necessarily have to have both in, but when both are in, it will pull simultaneously off of each battery. So the batteries do come out like so, and they drop right in here. You have a little tab right here that you pull. And what also is pretty cool about the batteries as well is on the battery itself, if you hold the button down, we'll show you this in a picture overlay, but you actually do have your battery reading. So let's say you want to just leave the unit inside and take your batteries inside. You can charge each battery and then also be able to see if it is full right here based off the reading on the battery. Put your battery back in. All you do is line it in the slot. You don't have to pull the pin back up, but it would be right if you put the battery in the right direction and then drop it in and it clicks in place. Now, what also makes the City 2 great is going to be a couple different adjustments for comfort on the unit as well. So over here you have this little tab that says pull up. If you pull that up, you do have a piston in the back, so you are able to adjust the back angle of the unit. So you just imagine if you wanted to be sitting back, a little bit of a reclined position, you are able to do that with the City 2 Plus and still drive this around. Now this is the same type of design. The armrests do flip up pretty much flush with the backrest. So if you have any type of slide transfers, you don't have any of this like on some of the other carbon fiber units or some of the plastic arm type units. You'll have like a plastic mold right here that can kind of hit you in the back if you're slide transferring. Based on this metal piston, they were able to design it in a way that completely flips up out of the way. And just to let you know, I mean, you can put your weight on here and it is not going to flex the armrest. I mean, it is built like a tank, is what I say on these units. Now the overall seat width on this, I went over the distance in between the arms of 18 out of the box or up to 21.5 with the spacers, but your cushion size is not going to change. 17.5 inches wide by about 19 inches in depth. That's going to put you at, because there is no adjustment for seat to ground height either, you're about 21.5 inches from the seat to the top of the seat to the ground. And one more thing that I did not mention, there are some pretty cool accessories that can come with this chair, whether it's a strap when you close it to kind of hold it together. They have an easy lift strap. They have the one that holds it together. They have elevating leg rests that are probably the most best engineered that I've seen on the market. There's two posts that just drop right in. There's no tools needed. The posts drop in and your individual leg rests drop right onto those. So once again, they thought of a lot when they were building the City 2 Plus. Now they did upgrade a couple things on these. They did upgrade, at least I know, the joystick, and by upgrading that joystick and the electronics, it did make the motors way more quiet. So if you've seen any other older videos that you'll see, you can actually hear the motors in some of the videos. This is actually a very, very quiet driving chair now, which I do think is a great enhancement by basically putting on this new electronics. So you will see that the joystick looks different. Now it's an actual digital display. It's going to show you which speed profile you're in, your total. Now this is in kilometers per hour because they sell this in Canada and probably overseas, but it will show you your battery gauge and your speed. We'll try to find out and see if you're able to program that to miles per hour, but I'm not sure. A lot of units that we see that come in kilometers per hour are not able to make that adjustment. Now the City 2 Plus can come in this all black, which I believe is the most popular color. I think it looks the most clean. And they also do have a silver frame. But do remember the tires, the cushions. The cushions can actually be changed as well. They are going to have a couple different, I think it's like a red, purple, blue, green. Might be a few other colors, but black is standard and all the rest of the colors would be an optional upgrade. Now on the City 2 Plus, if you've seen for our first edition to the second edition to now what I would call basically the third edition of the unit, in the back over here, the tip wheels are fixed once again. They used to have a version where they were almost tied to the rear motor assembly and you could flip the tip wheels up. They didn't think it was a great design over time. Basically, they weren't sure what that would do to being tied to kind of the motor frame. And also it wasn't the easiest when you wanted to fold it up and stand it upright, which I'll show you here in a little bit also. While I'm back here in the back of the unit, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you take these motors off. We'll probably do a picture overlay as well, but what I would recommend doing is turn your power off on your joystick up here. And then you have basically your left and your right motor plug. So they come apart very easily. And then you're going to have a black pin right here. If you pull the black pin, you can then remove the pin. Don't lose these pins. You are able to order extra pins if you need, but you can pull off each pin. And then what I find easiest is to kind of tip it to the side a little bit, and then that rear motor will come off. You can take the other side, same concept, take the pressure off that wheel, slide it off. So now these are what's going to drop this down to 40 pounds without the rear motor assemblies. And from here, you are still able to fold this unit up. You do have a lever back here in the back, that red lever. If you push that down, you're able to fold this unit up, and then you can kind of stand it and roll it on that back wheel. I will tell you that without the wheels on it, when you fold it up, there is no real like standing point on there. So it would have to be kind of down at this type of position when it's folded up. But just know you're a hair over 40 pounds with this without your rear motors on the unit. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bring it back up, and I'm going to slide these back on. But you can see how even without the rear wheels, you can still roll this around. So if you want to take the wheels off and then get this a little closer to your vehicle, you are able to do that. To then put your motors back on, it's nothing complicated, but you will see how you do have kind of these half triangle type shapes. All you're going to do is line up the motor in each one of those slots, and then they will slide right back into place. Do remember, first thing, put your pin back in. I would say put your pin back in before you even connect the motor, just so that way you know you have them in. Take the other one, put this back on this side. And then once again, obviously make sure you connect your motors, because without your motors being connected, you will not be able to drive. Now I do believe, I've not done it before, but I believe if you probably connect your motors the wrong way and all of a sudden right is left and left is right, well, that's probably because you crossed the wires for the motors. But if you did do it right, then it should operate exactly like it should. Go ahead and turn this back on. I did notice the horn, a little bit different than kind of the beep sound that you hear on a lot of other scooters or power chairs. You are going to have two levers in the back on each motor, so if you did want to, you can put this in freewheel without folding it up. You're going to have a red lever in the back. If you push those back both up, you'll be able to drive the chair. Now I will tell you, when you have the power on, it does create resistance to the motors. When your power is off, it rolls freely. And then what I noticed here as well, which is pretty cool on the digital display, I have one motor, actually I have both motors in neutral right now, and it's telling me the error code. That said error 02. Let me see if I have just one motor. Yep, 02. I want to see if it switches, because 02 might just be for both motors, or I'm curious if it has a left or a right motor disconnect. Let me see when I switch the polarity. Okay, so error 02 is basically saying that one of your motors is in freewheel. Once you put them back into gear, that error code will go away. Now they did mention, they say very water resistant. I don't want to say waterproof, because that means somebody's going to go dunk this in a pool. That's not what they're meaning with this, but they have made these joysticks where they are very water resistant. So minimal moisture, minimal rain should not really affect this unit. But once again, it is electronic, so please take care of your equipment, and obviously it will last a very long time. Now the joystick can go on the right hand side or the left hand side. You can switch the cup holder to either side. If you are traveling, you are able to unscrew this joystick like so. You have two arrows that match up. They made this very simple. There's two major pins, so some of the older joysticks had a bunch of pins and they could go in the wrong slot. Here you have two major pins, and you're going to twist that silver locking screw back together and then go ahead and turn your unit on. But that is if you're flying and you want to take it off, or sometimes even loading it in your vehicle. If you're worried about breaking your joystick, you are able to easily remove the joystick. Now I will tell you, Travel Buggy does go above and beyond. They actually give you a 90-day wear and tear on their products, and I've seen it firsthand that somebody hit a metal threshold or a certain type of gravel that was really sharp and took a little chunk out of a tire or an armrest, and they actually did cover it for the first 90 days. Most manufacturers call that wear and tear, and they don't cover it, but Travel Buggy does for the first 90 days. Now, also a great adjustment that they made as well is the footplate. So you have these two knobs on either side of the footplate, and you can extend this out pretty far. I think there's actually 3-hole adjustments. So you can be all the way out here. So for example, just trying to show you the adjustment, from where it mounts to the end of the footplate, you have about 17 inches from where your legs would come down to the end of the footplate. Obviously your footplate's not 17 inches. Your footplate is going to be 13 inches wide by about 8 inches deep. But if you're all the way in the close position, now you're going to be at about 13. So you have about 4 inches of adjustment here on the footplate as well. So if you're a really tall person, that does come in handy. Obviously the footplate still flips up for easy access. And I do want to mention, if your footplate is all the way out and then you flip it up, yes, it will sit a little bit higher on here, but it still does flip up no matter what position you have your footplate in. The wheels on this unit, they have 12-inch solid wheels in the rear. They call them 8-inch wheels in the front, but I'm curious if that's really a 7-inch wheel. That's not an 8-inch wheel. It's a 7-inch wheel in the front. And then really a 12.5. So they rounded down and rounded up. So 7 inches in the front, about 12.5 inches in the back. But honestly, this is a wonderful unit for anybody that wants something built like a tank, that has the extra heavy metal pistons under the arms, that's going to get up to a 15-mile range, something that folds. I mean, this is really probably the best unit on the market currently today for something that holds up to close to 400-pound weight capacity. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to drive it around for a couple minutes and kind of give you my overall opinion on it. So this is the City 2 Plus. This is a wonderful rear-wheel driven unit. You can see here it has a decent turning radius, especially for the size. Now obviously your turning radius, overall turning radius, is going to depend on how far you put your foot plate out. But I can tell you, based on this unit, from the first unit, you almost cannot hear the motors. Before, we had a few kind of smaller complaints that on the unit you could kind of hear the winding sound. Nothing was wrong with the motors, it was just a different electronics, so you did hear a little bit more. They still did keep the 250 watt brushless motors, but I believe how they configured the electronics now, it definitely changed. So in kilometers per hour, we're topping out at 6 is what it says, but once again, that's not miles per hour, kilometers per hour. So do look at the specs and that's going to be more accurate. But I do really like this. I do think it is comfortable. I mentioned to you earlier, you do have that handle that you can pull up, so you are able to sit back like this and still drive the chair with the anti-tip wheels on there. So you can just imagine, I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, 220 pounds, and this is plenty of space for me, how it currently comes out of the box. Obviously, yes, if you're up in that 300+ pound range or you have wider hips, then yes, you are able to get the 21.5 inches in between the arms. But overall, I really can't say enough good things about the City 2 Plus. It is our most popular selling model for this weight range. So if you're able to still lift that mid 70 pound range or down to 40 if you take the rear wheels off, this will be a great option. And I do want to mention to you as well, we also sell like a telescoping ramp that you can pair with this and then actually push the chair or assist it to drive it up into the back of a lot of different vehicles. So go ahead, subscribe and like our channel, and down in the description below we'll have a link to this, we'll have a link to the unboxing, and we'll probably have a link to a couple other videos plus the telescoping ramps that I just mentioned.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.